Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bendigo Bank MCDFNL footy preview for another week, bringing you all of the happenings in the Maryborough-Castlemaine District Football Netball League once again. Shaun Kelly's my name. Joining me, as always, Sam Gowers. Sam, welcome back, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Great to be back last week on the show, and some really positive comments as well, I hear.
Fantastic people, happy to see our smiling faces once again.
They were indeed. People not happy to see that you weren't on the field last week against Newstead. Ankle update, please.
Yeah, maybe this weekend. Not sure.
Fitness test.
Fitness test.
Who you play this week? Lexington?
Yeah, no, I'll be out.
Probably have another week off. Probably have another week off. That'd be a good one. Speaking of this weekend, before we jump into talking about the games, a couple of things to cover off from a junior point of view. Junior Interleague last week, the Ballarat and District Carnival smashed Central Highlands.
Did very well indeed, the boys.
Kept them to 1 goal for the day across 2 games of footy.
Outstanding effort by the boys.
It was indeed a 118-point victory in the under-16s, a 64-point victory in the under-14s. Netballers didn't quite fare so well. Fantastic development opportunities for our netballers who, close games all around, just couldn't quite get over the line, but fantastic day for both our junior footballers and netballers at the Ballarat District Carnival at a pretty good bunning on ground too. The guys ran on top of the ground quite nicely.
Very nice indeed.
And speaking of juniors, tomorrow it is that the boys head off to Cairns. We mentioned last week that we didn't quite know the names of the boys heading to Cairns. We now do. We're going to catch up with a few of them later on in the show, as well as they receive their jumpers to head up to Cairns. We can tell you that there are 6 MCDFNL players heading on the plane to Cairns tomorrow to represent AFL Goldfields in the under-17 Far North Queensland squad. They are, as I go through my list, they are Tom Hannett from Navarre, Callan, Wellings from Trentham, Mitchell Whelan from Carisbrook, Joel Howe from Avoca, Dale Bott from Newstead, and Trent Mortlock from Natty Bialaba. Good luck, boys. We'll have a couple of them later on in the show that we will talk to. Let's jump straight into it though, Sammy. Round 9 coming up. We've passed the halfway mark of the season. Huge round of footy coming up. Let's jump straight into it. Carisbrook taking on the Maryborough Rovers at Carisbrook on Saturday, and Rovers back down to earth a little bit after a pretty heavy loss against Navarre, which they really shouldn't feel too bad about because Navarre's pumping everyone at the moment. Some good signs for Carisbrook though. Some names starting to come back into their side from injury. They've kept on winning. They're now working their way back up near the top 4. So some very good signs for Brook in that they've had a prolonged period of absences out of the side, but they still keep winning.
Yeah, pretty good depth out Brook way. Like you said, Rovers last week got smashed by Newstead, but I don't think they would have been expecting... Navarre, sorry. I don't think they would have been expecting to get too close to the Grasshoppers, but I think they did well anyway. They
did indeed. Speaking of Carisbrook's depth, something we must mention, their reserves last week. Every player in the side figured on the score sheet. Every one of them kicked a goal. I'm amazed Brandon Weatherson could keep himself off the score sheet for that long, so to pass it around.
I don't think Weather would have passed many, do you?
I don't think he would have at all. Natty Bialaba taking on Lexington. This is a huge game between two sides that are in the top 4 at the moment. Natty, a huge win last week, ending Newstead's undefeated run for the season. And of course, Lexington, their only loss was to Navarre in round 1. This is going to be a ripper at Natty. Sammy, your thoughts?
Massive game for both sides. Natty knocked off Newstead last week, like you said. Pretty impressive, seeing they were missing Chris Jardine and Dean Greycoat, who 2 players that figure pretty decisively in their back line. Going to be a really tough test against the Tigers. They've been outstanding in the last few weeks. M. Brown last week, 10 of the best. Who stands him? Chris Jardine will get first crack at him.
That's if he's playing, of course.
If he's playing. If not, I'd imagine Jamie Evans will probably head his way. He's played on him in the past and done a pretty good job.
Where's this game going to be won? Because this is a huge one, let's make no mistake about it. And Lexington, we know how strong their midfield is. Blokes like David Aspel, Jimmy Templeton, Dylan Barr running through the midfield that have been so influential all season. Yeah,
another thing with Lexington's their rebound off half-back. And I think Natty's forwards are going to have to be really conscious of that, try and shut that down a little bit. That means
you, Wiz.
No, not so much the Wiz. The Wiz can do what he wants, but a few other blokes just need to keep an eye on that rebound off half-back and try and keep him under wraps.
There's quite a few that need to. You're tipping with the heart or with the head?
Oh, I'm going to have to tip the Swannies after last week.
I'm going to go against you. Lexington flying at the moment and just think that they might get over the line in what's going to be a fantastic game of football. Before we move on, netball. Natty v Lexington, A-grade netball. 2 undefeated sides, possible grand final preview is what I'm hearing around the traps. This is going to be an absolute ripper between a Natty side that's full of interleague representatives and a Lexington side that's full of stars.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really good showdown. Like you said, Natty, you've got a lot of interleague representatives, a lot of versatile players as well.
Yep.
You know, Ingrid Hopkins can play in goals or down back.
Yep.
Ash McClellan can go through the centre, go to goals. So, yeah, we'll wait and see what happens.
Ebony Knights, I've been told, is the key in this one. She's been fantastic in the goaling arc for Natty this year. She might find Crystal Fisher might come up near her on the weekend, though, which could make life difficult for Ebony.
Yeah, that'll be a really good battle between two class players. Be interesting to see how it pans out.
They're a very good game of netball, so if you're heading down to Natty on the weekend, get around that, because that's going to be a great game of netball, and especially if Sam does play in the twos and stinks it up, then you can go and watch that to kind of console yourself from his poor performance. Moving along, Malden taking on Navarre at the Bill Woodfull Reserve this weekend. Unfortunately for the Dons, who got dusted last week by Campbell's Creek, this could be a bit of one-way traffic.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Unfortunately for Malden, they're a pretty proud club, but they've sort of fallen on hard times this year. And like we said earlier, and like everyone knows, Navarre are absolutely flying. Ash
Driscoll raised the bat last week, got to his half-centuries on 51 goals for the season at the halfway mark. Going quite nicely is the boy. He's got 8 more rounds to go. He's got 49 more goals to get. Average that out, that's about 7 a round. In fact, it is just 7 a round will do it.
Going to be pretty tough going, but I'll back him to get there.
He might fill his boots this week, I reckon, although his brothers are nicking goals off him as well. Cody's kicked 6 on the weekend as well, and going along quite nicely are the Driscoll boys at Navarre. Trentham taking on Harcourt at Trentham. This will be a very interesting game. Obviously, Trentham have been playing very well at home throughout the season, except last week they travelled out to Lexington and got probably one of the more comprehensive floggings we've seen this year. Harcourt doing a nice job. Almost gave Bushy a touch-up on the weekend. Couldn't quite get over the line. They're vastly improved from the lineup we saw take to the field at the start of the year, Sammy. How do you see this one going?
Look, I'm going to go with Harcourt on this one. Maybe if it was earlier in the season, I might have gone the other way. But like Harcourt said at the start of the year, they had injuries and they had players to filter back in. I think we're starting to see that now. Trentham have probably gone the other way. Started the season not too badly, but sort of dropped off over the last few rounds. Just 1 goal last week against Lexington. Pretty worrying for the Saints.
Yeah, it is indeed. Look, that's probably swaying me towards tipping Harcourt as well. 3 more games to look at. Before we do, though, we obviously mentioned the 6 players heading up to Cairns tomorrow as part of the AFL Goldfields Under 17 trip. They had their jumper presentation night at City Oval in Ballarat earlier this week, and we caught up with a couple of boys that are heading up to Cairns to get some of their thoughts. We caught up with Mitch Whelan from Carisbrook and Callan Wellings from Trentham. Here's the boys' thoughts. Welcome to this week's MCDFNL Footy Show. We're here with 2 of the boys heading to Cairns tomorrow, representing the MCDFNL. Firstly, Cal Wellings from Trentham. Cal, how are you, mate?
Mate, yourself.
And Mitch Whelan from Carisbrook. Mitch, welcome to the Footy Show, mate. How does it feel? So tomorrow, you're on the plane, going up to escape this weather and play footy in a pretty good environment up in Cairns.
Pretty exciting. Can't wait.
What about you, Cal? Something you're looking forward to, mate?
Well, drinking lots of water.
Good boy. Now, you tried out for the squad last year as well, unfortunately didn't make it.
Yep.
Going through the training this year and obviously knowing what you always went through last year, was it something that you really set yourself for to make sure that you're in that 6 from the MCDFNL?
Yeah, it was obviously a goal to obviously improve from last year and hopefully make the squad. And which enough I was lucky with Mitch and 4 of the other boys, so looking forward to it.
That's fantastic. Obviously, Mitch, how did you break the news to LT that you weren't going to be able to play seniors this weekend?
I haven't told him yet.
Oh, no. He's probably in the selection tonight, picking you in the side now. Probably is. No, it's going to be a fantastic experience. And Cal, you've played some senior footy this year. Are you expecting something pretty similar to your senior experience up in Cairns?
I have no idea, to be honest. Last year, where they put up some photos, and there's those 7-foot giants, so I have no idea what I'm expecting, but yeah, it'll be a good contest no matter what.
Now, you play 2 games up there, Mitch. 1 in Cairns on Sunday, 1 in Townsville on Wednesday. So obviously, we've got 26 in the squad, but all 26 will get a run. So looking forward to rotating probably through some different positions throughout the day.
Get on, have a kill, see how they go.
And obviously, one of the good things is that it's a combined trip across AFL Goldfields. So you get to meet new mates, and there's 20 other blokes from different leagues going up that you get to meet for the first time. New experiences, mate. Of course, played Interleague last weekend as well. Didn't do too badly. Saw a photo of you with a nice shiny thing around your neck. So taking it to the next step this week.
Yeah, did alright. Me and Mitch in captain was great. And yeah, another good experience up north.
Boys, the jumpers look nice and snazzy. We look forward to seeing some photos of you representing the league well in those jumpers. Best of luck. Enjoy the time up in Cairns.
Thank you.
Look forward to hearing good reports when you come back.
No worries, thank you very much.
Mitch Whelan from Carisbrook. Cal Wellings from Trentham, both heading to Cairns on the weekend. It's time to get back in the studio and keep looking at this week's games. Mitch Whelan from Carisbrook, Cal Wellings from Trentham, both of them representing the MCDFNL in Cairns as part of the AFL Goldfields Under 17 side this weekend. Moving right along, 3 more games to go, so to have a look at this week. Talbot taking on Royal Park. Match of the round. Royal Park, we know they're flying at the moment. Talbot back on the winners list in a big way against Avoca last weekend. Both teams will back themselves in here.
Yeah, they will. Should be a really good matchup, this one. I spoke to a few of the Talbot boys last week and they were pretty happy to get a win against Avoca. A big win as well.
It was.
That'll give them a bit of confidence, but I'm going to have to go with Royal Park, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, I think Royal Park have got the runs on the board for me as well. Obviously, Talbot have been up and down this year. We've seen them have some big wins and then really revert back to type in the weeks following that, whereas Royal Park have had that more consistent kind of run throughout the year. They're going to be tested. There's absolutely no doubt about that, and it would not surprise me at all to see Talbot come over the line here, but I'm tipping Royal Park. Yeah,
especially at the Hawks' home ground. They play that pretty well. Probably one of the better teams that play their home ground in the league, so it should be a really interesting game, that one.
Might even sneak down and have a look at this one. That's how appealing this is. Might even sneak down to Talbot and see if Billy Briggs will buy me a beer and see how we go from there. Newstead taking on Campbell's Creek on Sunday. Second game at the Newstead Rooms. Their first one didn't quite go to plan. Obviously, Natty Bialaba defeating them last week. Campbell's Creek coming off a strong win against Malden. Their first win over Malden in some 9 years or something like that as well. So tails will be up at Campbell's Creek at the moment. But they've been a different side away to what they have at home this year, have the Magpies. And that's swaying me towards tipping Newstead in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go the same as well. Good looking rooms out at Newstead.
Yes,
by the way,
very good
new rooms. Well done to everyone involved there. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Kangas here. They'll want to get back on the winners list after losing last week, and I think they'll just have a bit too much class for the Creek.
They will indeed. The last match of the round, we could find a team win their first game this weekend as well as Denali take on Avoca at Denali. 2 teams that haven't had much at all to cheer about this year, and more than likely one of them will have something come Saturday night. I say more than likely because Denali, of course, have already played a draw this year. And at the moment, the way these 2 sides are going, they'd probably both take a draw.
Yeah, they would. Toss of the coin job, I think this one probably just lean towards Avoca. I think they've just got that little bit extra class.
I think they have too, but they haven't really shown it this year. They've had their top couple of blokes. They've had the Alec Wiltshires, the Tommy Nankivels, blokes like that who've been playing good footy, but they haven't had the support behind them.
Yeah, I think those blokes that you mentioned, blokes like Murray Bond as well, Mitch Kennedy, if he can get back on the field, I think they might just drag him over the line. Yeah,
look, I'm going to tip Avoca in this one as well. Before we go on from Avoca, though, we mentioned the name of the big Bolsh before, Alec Wiltshire, who did come and play inside 60. Have a look at this photo that we found just during the course of our daily rummaging throughout papers during the week. Is that Bolsh taking on a new shot put career?
It is, I think so. He's put on a few more kilos for the career.
He looks like it.
Unmistakable, that's the Bolsh.
He's been well and truly sitting at Red House Bakery eating every single one of the pies. And it looks like he's launching into a shot put career. So thanks to your cousin Matt for that one, Bolsh. And thanks to the Geelong Advertiser for providing that photo for us. That's us for another week, mate. Good luck this weekend if you do get out on the paddock.
I'll keep your fingers crossed.
I don't think it'll happen given that you're playing against the top team, but we never know.
Might just sit this one out.
Yeah, good idea. Obviously, good luck to all the boys travelling up to Cairns, and good luck to your side taking on football and netball in the MCDFNL this weekend. That's us for another week. We'll be back next week with more footy preview here on the MCDFNL website. We'll see you then.